Today on the Mike O'Mara Show.
Listen. Wait a minute. Now, Oscar, you're up there. You're not here. The lady expressed herself and said what she wanted to say. Well, what do you want to know? I think you can serve it over garlic bread. You can serve it over garlic. Or you can put it over noodles. Did I hear a pone bone in the background there? Did I hear him say something?
Matt, did you say something?
No. Okay.
Did you go?
I did say but I was muted.
So, all right, thank you. It's me. It's a voice in my Alzheimer's head. Thank you, Pony. I appreciate that.
I was muted,
Did you have Pony over for dinner last night? I love wine movies. Anytime there's a movie about wine, what got me into wine really was Sideways back in the day, which now is an old movie, which is sad for me. Mike inserts Paul Giamatti joke here.
All that and more. The Mike O'Mara Show starts now. Mike O'Mara, radio entertainment. You can listen to the Mike O'Mara Show at MikeO'MaraShow.com.
Let's get started.
It's the Mike O'Mara Show with Mike O'Mara, Oscar Santana, and Rob Spiewak. Now, here's Mike.
Mike O'Mara Show. Hi. Valentine, Nebraska. So glad that holiday's behind us.
It was great, wasn't it, though? Wasn't it great?
Really great Valentine's Day. Actually, not bad in my house.
Oh, good.
After everything. Dracut, Massachusetts. Somebody posted that they live in Dracut or know somebody that lives in Dracut. Saltville, Virginia. I got peppered. I got pepper sprayed. No. What's wrong with me today? I got pepper sprayed in Saltville one time. Fetzer, Texas. Pratt, Kansas. Gdansk, Poland. Pratt, Kansas. Sorry. Who can tell me the biggest employer next to the insurance industry in my state of Connecticut, right outside Hartford? That's a hint.
Oh, Jesus, insurance company, for God's sake.
Isn't it?
It had nothing to do with insurance.
It was fireworks sales.
BlackRock.
That is not true.
Financial.
It's going to tie in to something I want to talk about today.
Honey baked ham.
Oh, you're going more specific.
Yeah.
Just honey baked ham.
I mentioned Pratt, Kansas, because every day, I think it was either 3:30 or 4:30, Pratt and Whitney aircraft would let out. And this is...
I thought it was Gulfstream.
I grew up in Americana because this was...
factory stuff, yeah.
Where the jet engines were made at the Pratt and Whitney plant. And at the Pratt and Whitney plant, I had kids that had lots of parents that worked at Pratt and Whitney, and it's where they made the jet engines. You know, now I think you have Rolls-Royce and Pratt and Whitney engines, but I think they're still making the engines. And they had an airstrip right next to the factory where they would do test things.
Was it like the classic factory setting where people worked there their whole life, and it was just that's what they did, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it was very similar to that, you had
when life was better.
You know, Carrie went through a lot of Carrie in Newport News. There was a huge percentage of the population that worked in the shipyards. What did you do?
Shipping.
You work in the shipyards. Yeah, that's what they did. It was a factory.
I don't know if I'm getting nostalgic, but it was shipping.
Did they make the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria?
They made just the Nina there.
But it's more, Newport News is more sprawling, though, right?
It is.
Really sprawling. We had shipbuilding we had submarine building.
What kind of ships?
In Connecticut, too. We build a lot of stuff in
leaderships.
Leaderships.
That's what they made there.
Welcome to the dumbest effing show anywhere.
Did you know any of the Pratts
anywhere.
or the Whitneys? Because they had to be important people in the country.
No, but I'll mention a guy that I know down here that I met. I won't tell you where he's from, but his name's Dick Whitney. And I was. I'll tell you, he was a guy that was in charge of vetting new members at Happy Valley.
Oh,
and as soon as I heard the name, I almost blew it by going, "Hey, Dick Whitney." Because I love the sound of names. But anywho, It was it was a simple time down there. My dad worked for insurance, which is hard to believe because I hate the insurance industry so totally now.
Right.
Anything about it. I hate their commercials. I hate that they don't do funnier ads during the Super Bowl. I hate Flo in the Progressive commercials.
Yeah.
I would, if I saw in real time the Geico Gecko, I would step on it. I would do a crush video.
Oh, that is blasphemous.
With his little bull S Australian accent or whatever the hell it
Is
is.
that a size 13?
What do we do? All right, what do we do?
Oscar just did the Gecko voice.
Let me hear that, please.
Is that a size 13?
Saturation.
As like your shoe coming out.
Yeah, exactly.
They were one of the great folks that changed advertising, where it stopped becoming creative and it
a little
became
shop
frequency.
in Richmond is the agency of note.
Oh, and by the way, you want to meet some swinging D's. Go down and meet those guys.
Yeah.
That control the world.
Yep.
Literally have their asses kissed, whatever concert, sporting event, anything. Those guys walk in and are.
We met a guy.
All right.
And we actually worked with him for some time at Podville that used to work there. So I finally cozied up to him and said, "Tell me everything. Tell me."
Do you have any good stories?
You know. Yeah.
Because that's the wild frontier. They get to do whatever they want.
He was hateful of management.
That's a good sign.
And I said, effective managers. If you love your managers,
they're
probably not getting it done.
Now, don't get your whole
the
whole treat people with horror and they will love you. No, it's the thing. Here's what it is.
That's not my bit.
The guys but it's always you're always on the side of the executives.
Make them
You're
fear
always
you.
on the side of the management.
Yeah, he loves terror.
You love management. You don't look at it's right in front of you of what management's done to you. But as far as that, can you imagine at Geico, get in, kiss the right ass, get the lifetime contract.
Yes,
and you're probably going to, keep down any of the minions that might be coming up to steal your gig.
Yeah,
right?
This is what I was told. All kidding aside, the level of pressure that they put upon each other.
Yeah.
To raise the bar every time because they need their
raise the bar for sales.
No,
raise the bar for what?
For the ads.
That
they make.
The ads have stayed the same for 10 years.
But they make 30 of them. Geico picks which ones they want to use.
They do make 30. They do. Yeah. They are prolific.
Yes.
But pretty much doesn't sound like any pressure to me to make the Gecko.
Didn't they do the Cavemen? Was that them? That sucked too.
The one where they make him an actor. When
relevant.
they made him an actor is when it flipped. I have a flat tire. Jesus. Honest to God. No, but they're the ones that said frequency.
Yeah.
Create a diversion. Yeah. Put something cute because that'll make sure that the people who gravitate to us like a little cartoon. What pig? I forgot the pig.
When he has the pinwheels?
Oh, yeah, the pig.
Whee!
Yeah,
ladies and gentlemen,
I can't argue with that one.
No, Mike,
I can't argue with that one. That one might have been my favorite too.
Yeah, but again,
that was funny.
Did it raise the bar?
I'm sorry. I apologize. It's just so frequent. We see them so frequent. We'd love to have Geico. Yes, I'd change my tune on Geico if I got Geico.
Sure.
We flirted with Geico years ago.
We did. That was I actually made the connection through business school.
Geico.
The CFO of Geico came in and I said, "Would you like to advertise on a podcast, sir?"
How long ago was the pig commercial?
Right around the time Oscar was trying to get the guys to come in to sponsor the studio.
In school, I was like, whee! Big fan.
They must have loved you.
But I actually had pinwheels.
Yeah.
My dad was in the advertising department of Aetna Life and Casualty. P.S. 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 means personal service. I can't imagine why we didn't make more money at home. But anyway, that's terrible.
What happened
Dad,
to the jingle?
That was, wait, hold on. I am disciplining myself. Dad, you were a great dad. You were a great dad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. And I know that Mr. Bud, or whatever his name, had a bigger house on the hill, and he was the head of the
Mr. Bud?
And all the other executives lived in the small houses. Yeah. Well, George Bailey. Anyway.
It seems like when you go back then, a lot of people worked for people named Bud. Big Daddy worked for a guy named Bud.
His first name wasn't Bud.
Oh, it wasn't? Oh, okay. Sorry.
Rosebud.
The two biggest houses were one guy who was like the chief poobah, and then the other was a house owned by the Wrenches. Dr. and Dr. Wrench.
They worked with the Whitneys.
Yeah, they were in the
had their own
conservatory.
practice. They were ahead of their time. They had their own practice. They had their medical offices in their home, their massive home. I mean, the biggest house in town that was at the top of a hill that you could see from miles away. And I was never a patient of theirs. We had Dr. Preble, who would burst into the door every time, and I stole it, and I still use it. Would blast through the door. You'd hear this. 2 knocks and then, hello, young people. I remember he was larger than life.
I've seen this in real time.
Yep, I've done that. Hello, young people. I loved it.
What kept
I loved
you
it,
away
but I was
from
scared of it too. It was scary the way he would enter a room.
What kept you away from the Wrenches?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You don't like tools?
I just know my doctor was our lifelong doctor, family friend, blah, blah, blah. You know, I know there was controversy at some point, with DIVORCE, I believe. But
it used to be a big deal, yeah.
It was, where it's like,
when someone tells me they're divorced now, or how do you feel? I'm like,
whatever.
Just another Monday.
Yeah.
It was, I just remember that it was right near the high school. It was actually on the hill overlooking the new high school that we had. And I haven't been back to since my mom passed, I haven't been back to my hometown in a long time. I've got to do a retro tour at some point.
Especially with Michael.
Yes.
I want to take him to my hometown again. I've taken him once. And I want to take him to the area that I have not revisited since I went to college there, and that was Marist College, the Hudson Valley of New York.
He's never seen
New York.
He's never seen your statue?
The one that's it's a little one next to the one of Bill O'Reilly at Marist College.
Well, you're together.
Because I transferred out. I transferred out. I'm like that quarterback. I'm like Jalen Hurts. I wasn't getting the attention that I needed at Marist, so I transferred to American University, where my radio career. Yeah. Where my radio career officially began.
Look at me.
That's it. All right. I wanted to share this. I will share the airline discussion till later in the show. But Oscar came in today, and we were putting out some scheduling for there will not be a bonus show this coming Friday. I have a medical procedure and Rob has a funeral procedure. So please be aware that we will be dark for the bonus show this coming Friday. And then in that same thread, Oscar said, I have PT, physical therapy, and I will not be in today. And then when Oscar got here today, he shared something that, and by the way, he was still late. Right?
I was here at 9:10.
No, you were actually here at 8:50.
Yeah, early.
Yeah.
I got put into
he wasn't in the studio until 10 after 9.
I got put into a meeting.
But he said we all sort of agreed to meet at 9:10.
Yeah, if you look at the thread, it says see you at 9:10.
So,
9:10. I knew that, but
I was here at 9:10.
I think it was here at 9:10.
After what you said happened, my point is that he didn't have his thing today.
That's true.
It turned out, but it was a very interesting read. But correct me if I'm wrong. When I opened the fucking camera, right, it was 9:10. That's when we started today, because nobody told me he's going to be on time because his PT guy didn't show up. Right. That's the fucking point I was trying to make here. Man. For God's sake, for the love of God. No, Mike, he was here.
I was here.
All right, good.
Is that the voice I use?
I'm here.
Yes. I mean, but the fact is, we were called for a 9:10 start. Were we not?
We started at 9:10.
Listen. Wait a minute. Now, Oscar, you're up there. You're not here. The lady expressed herself and said what she wanted to say. Well, what do you want to know?
I love what he says in the
Ollie, if you need lessons to be a reporter, I was your editor once, and I was your boss once, and are no longer. What do you say about that?
The great Jim Ryan.
How'd that happen?
I love when Ollie just throws his hands up and says, I could try to get her back.
I could try to get her back. The spokesman, the lady, you're there. And I'm here. Ollie. Ollie, the lady was trying to be a spokesperson. Yeah. What do you want, fancy pants? By the way, a bit taken by the great, and I call him great,
Yes.
Bill Hader, and turned into Herb Welch on Saturday Night Live with Jason Sudeikis, which back really the last truly consistently side-splitting week after week of SNL.
I don't see that as being a typical process, nor is it a typical process to be working on.
All right, stop for a second. Let me set it up because there are people that haven't heard it.
Okay.
So, Fox News, local news in New York.
Good Day New York, yeah.
Good Day New York morning show. Jim Ryan, anchor, and Dick
Oliver.
Dick Oliver, reporter. Dick Oliver is doing a live feed at an apartment complex where the elevator doesn't work. I've watched it 1,000 times. That's why I'm able to quote it off the top of my head. Dick Oliver, this grizzled veteran reporter who there were lots of stories going around about Dick Oliver. He kept Heineken's in the trunk of his car.
That's
when
my favorite.
And cover stories. So Jim Ryan, who's the anchor man, is communicating with him after he does the interview, and they get into a bit of a skirmish. And if you've never heard it, this is from Good Day Live. Is it Good Day Live?
It's Good
or
Day
something?
New York. Good Day New York.
From years ago. And let's listen to the exchange right here.
I don't see that as being a typical process, nor is it a typical process to be working on.
We've got to go now. I want to thank you both. Thank you. All right, it's back to you, Jim.
Ollie, don't let her go away. That's what. Does she have a response to that? Is she still there?
What's that?
Did the lady just leave?
Yeah.
Oh, that's too bad. I should have kept that discussion.
She's back if you want her.
Yes.
She heard you.
Yes.
What would you like to know?
I'd like to know a response to what the gentleman said. The gentleman's a very effective spokesperson for the company, but obviously the people who live there are not satisfied with his explanation.
Right. So what do you want now?
Well, if I have to teach you how to be a reporter, Ollie, I'll do that later.
Why don't you do that later, Jim? I think the lady expressed herself, and you're not here, you're there. Is there any question you'd like me to ask her?
No, I'll give you lessons on how to become a reporter later.
I'll give you some lessons on how to be an editor, because I was your boss once.
Yeah, you were, and are no longer. How did that happen?
Well, I don't
Here's
know.
Aaron Bill DeMille.
Good morning, Jim. We are live at
By the way, the Irishman, give it to the Irish guy to go literally for the jugular.
Yes.
Yep.
Just immediately,
In front of everyone.
In front of everyone. And are no longer, because you're a dirtbag drunk. Dick.
That was one of my favorite things when we were spending some time in New York City. That was a great morning show.
It was fun.
It was
a lot of
good.
fun.
Yeah.
So the point is, Oscar got a taste of his own medicine today.
Yeah.
And we got to get our talking head on. But you were a victim of lack of punctuality, which you have foisted upon this show since its inception.
Yeah, there are things that I will stand for and things that I'll make excuses for, and I'll own. If anything, Mike, you would say that I'm accountable for my own. I account for my own issues and problems.
We've all figured out how to deal with it.
Correct,
Yeah.
but I'm self-aware enough to know what's going on with me. This is the second time I've been to this particular physical therapy place. It's not
Dr. Wrench, isn't it?
It's not necessarily convenient for me at the moment because it's not like a building up. You have to either walk 7 minutes or drive 7 minutes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I say drive because there's just traffic now. Everybody's back. So I drive. I paid the $12 a park because I didn't want to be late.
Oh,
And
such a racket.
I get in, I go up, and I'm like, they're like, oh, so-and-so's, let's call him Rich. Rich is running a little late this morning. I look at my watch, and I'm like, oh, well, I'm early. But I know as a late person, sometimes S happens. So I don't make a big stink. You don't see me making a big stink when Mike's late or anybody has an issue. I'm like,
Right.
okay, we'll accommodate, right?
How dare you?
Let him continue to spin his web. This is fun.
How dare you? The nerve!
Let him spin his web. This is
All
fun.
right, go ahead.
Yeah.
All right.
So the lady says, how do you usually sit? I said, excuse me? She goes, what do you usually what exercise? This is my second time at this particular place. I just lay on my stomach and they work on my lower back. She says, oh, I'll just start with the heat. So I'm like, okay.
So this is his assistant.
Yeah, just the front desk lady, right? Basically, imagine Pony trying to do surgery.
Mom and pop
Yes.
operation.
And I said, okay. I have to leave here no later than 9 o'clock to make it by 9:10.
Right.
Is this going to be a long delay? And she goes, no, this will be here in 10 minutes. So right now it's 8:05 when I ask about that because I just don't see anybody coming through, and I've got this heating pad, no big deal. So I'm like answering emails, got this heating
You're kind of a prisoner at that point.
Yes. Yeah. And they got the little electrodes on you. So
by the way, that to me is probably by design.
Of course.
They are probably knowing you're not going to get up and leave once they've started the procedure and once they're giving you a little of the electricity in the back.
It's like when a car dealer puts you back in the office. They know you've got the hooks in you. You're going to stay. Yeah.
Right.
No big deal. And then so I'm standing there and
lying there.
I'm lying there, and then I see a gentleman walk in from my peripheral vision. Because I'm facing a wall, not a mirror or anything. Mm-hmm. And I turn around like, oh, hey, thinking that this is my guy. He goes, oh, you here for therapy too? I'm like, yeah. So I start like talking to this guy like he's my therapist. He's just another patient.
Oh, no.
And the therapist is keeping everybody waiting.
Yes. So
because he doesn't care.
And he eventually just says to me, he goes, oh, I'm not your therapist. I was just making small talk. I'm like, he goes, I'm here for therapy too. And I'm like, he goes,
same guy. Yeah. I'm on time.
Yes. Yeah. So 8:30 comes around. And I'm like, look, we have to reschedule this because I can't, like, I know this is going to go past their commitments. I'm sorry, there must be some sort of emergency because I can't imagine someone's just here late 30 minutes on a regular basis. And she goes, yeah, like something's been going on with the Metro. He's been late a lot lately.
God, shut up.
Wow. A doctor that is reliant on the subway, Mike. Yeah.
I said, okay, I got to go. I paid for parking and now we got this going on. I said, with respect, things happen. Fine. And then the guy next to me is like, I got to go too. I create a domino effect where there's like 4 people like, we're all going.
That's great.
Oh, he's good. Good. He must own the place. The therapist must own the place.
I don't know, but this is
you get a call? Did you get a call?
I got nothing. But this is what got me. And look, and if I'm lying, I'm dying. On my way out, they give you the little plastic mask, the disposable one.
Sure.
Right? And I say, they're like, wait. I'm like, hey, like, I'm good. I didn't even make a huff. You know me, I'm sweet. I'm nice, right? I'm like,
right.
Things happen. Please don't feel bad.
That's you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're good. I'll come back later on today. I'll call you if we've got a schedule. And she goes, okay, thank you for being so, like, understanding. And I know that everyone has their schedules. I'm like, yeah, I get it. Things happen. I just don't want to be late for my meeting. She's like, wait. And then she comes over with a little envelope that's like a check size envelope.
Mm-hmm.
She goes, we're trying to conserve our mask use. So do you mind taking your mask off, putting this envelope, and put your name on it?
Oh, my God.
Oh, no.
Oh, my
and then give it back to you next time you come.
Oh, my God. Maybe they're losing business because he's perpetually late.
But the mask?
Paper mask.
For what we're paying? Like, I know I'm paying to go to this place.
Stunning.
That is stunning.
What was the receptionist's name? Tone Deaf?
I don't know.
It was a rap name.
And I felt like, I was like, am I snob?
Listen, I know you didn't able to do it because he blew you off completely. If we could just further inconvenience you and just demonstrate how incredibly cheap we are at the same time to make the final impression, I would never go back there again. Ever.
I wouldn't either.
Ever.
I called Shannon because sometimes we have this venue here, right? But
by the way, we're keeping our talking head waiting.
Thank you.
Because you're going on and on and on.
I'm sorry.
And he's waiting
now he's
for
waiting
us.
For us.
See, there's the difference between
this
you and me.
This is the domino effect.
I love your story, but I am thinking about this guy who's been patiently, who called Rob and wanted to get in here.
I apologize.
What did Shannon say?
I said, hey, is your boy Rich always late? Because Shannon referred me to this place.
Rich. Hey, that's a good name for him.
And and she goes,
what did she say?
She goes, no, he's usually on time, but Stacy's always late.
F him.
I said, what are you doing?
PT.
Not okay.
PT ought to be renamed BS in my humble opinion. I've been doing it a lot of time. Let's bring in our talking head right now. Elliot Graham is the gentleman's name. Elliot has listened to the podcast, the show, since 1995 on KHTK, and has been a podcast listener from day one. He has been married for 25 years to his wife, Sherry. They have no kids, no snakes, no dogs, and no dying fish. Oh, that's a sad one today,
Sorry,
Rob.
buddy.
Yeah, he's bloated. Elliot is a vintner. Oh, cool. And he owns Busby Cellars. I remember Busby sent us some vino in a winery in Somerset, California, which is Napa adjacent. They make too many wines, mostly reds. He got a degree from UC Davis in enology, which is the study of wine. That's cool. He once hosted actor Michael Chiklis at a tasting. The commish.
Yeah.
He loves to use the show as a personal timeline, and his favorite episode is podcast 843 back in 2013. We'll find out about why. Intrigued you should be. Now here's Elliot Graham in front of one of his oak barrels. My God. Elliot, how are you?
Woo!
Good morning, fellas. I'm great. How are you guys?
This may be the very first vintner that I've had the pleasure of interviewing on the show, and it's very, very cool because I know you do produce very good and a large number of bottles of wine. How big is your winery, and are you the full deal where you're the grape grower and the maker?
Do you
tell us
stomp
about
on them?
Do you get in there like Lucille Ball? Tell us all about it's Busby Cellars, right?
Busby Cellars, correct. And first, it's just an honor to speak with you guys. You guys have been in my ears for years and years and years, so it's strange to be talked to now instead of talked at. So thank you very much.
Good to have you with us.
Yeah. Mike, we make a large variety of wines, but I wouldn't say a large amount of bottles of wine.
Okay.
I'll say maybe quality over quantity. How about that?
Okay. All right. That's good. That's that's very popular out there right now. Do you have the home run bottle shock home run winner that wineries get? Do you have one particular wine that is put you on the map?
Well, we do too many varietals. So I think we grow about 10 different varieties of grapes, and we make about 20 different varieties of wine. So we're spread pretty thin, but yes, we have had. Are you guys there? Okay.
Yeah, we're here. We can hear you loud and clear.
Oscar, you really do have the frozen face.
Yeah, I do. I have the RBF. I'm looking at your Instagram right now. Very impressive. Busby Cellars. Look them up. You can't go wrong. It's right there. You see a bunch of bottles of wine. Follow them on IG.
Yeah,
Thank you.
It's wonderful. So yeah, I mean, I remember I love wine movies. Anytime there's a movie about wine, what got me into wine really was Sideways back in the day, which now is an old movie, which is sad for me. Mike inserts Paul Giamatti joke here. I am not drinking Merlot. I am not drinking any effing Merlot. And then Bottle Shock, which was I think Chris Pine. I think it's Chris Pine.
No, I'll get you.
I remember the movie more than
maybe it's not Chris. But anywho, so do you have one that's that's been oh my God, this is something special? Because I mean, when you're making that much wine,
Chris Pine, correct?
Attaboy.
Chris Pine.
It is.
There you go. So tell me a wine story.
Oh sure, yeah. So how about this? We started. My wife and I started the business almost 25 years ago. And we were very foolish in our naivete about how difficult it would actually be. We entered an industry that was largely dominated by people that had a lot of money, made money in a previous life, and then decided to go into the wine industry as a hobby. We were foolish and went the other way around. So we started with almost nothing and built everything from the ground up. I mean, we bought bare land. And just started planting grapes and building a winery. And the next thing you know, we have a tasting room and we're helping customers. So our wine story is just one of those, like a pioneering aspect of it. So everything's kind of homespun, grown here, made here, sold here.
It's got to be daunting when you look at that at the beginning, when you're looking at the blank plot of land in front of you. What goes through your mind? I mean, are you filled with? I would imagine you're filled not only with doubt, but maybe with even dread. Like, how is this possibly going to happen?
Yes, we have, my wife and I have a term for it. We call it the pit. And the pit is when you wake up at 2:00 in the morning and you realize, oh my goodness, we've made a horrible mistake. But
that's funny.
Yeah, it started pretty early on when we realized that so much money at the beginning and taking on an endeavor like this is money going out, especially something like wine grapes. It takes 3 years to get your first harvest from the time you plant. And then when you decide to turn your grapes into wine, it's another 2 years after that. So it's literally 5 years with no money. So yeah,
that's
that
scary.
Is the dread, Mike. You're right. Yeah,
that is scary. And how many? What next to the initial startup of growing the grapes? What is the for anybody that might do it, even on the smallest possible scale? Because I know listeners in Virginia have done it, and all over the country in different climates. As unfortunately global warming has resulted in areas that were never wine producing are now producing wine. What is as far as the production of wine? What is the initial startup challenge? What's the biggest challenge financially?
Oh, Mike, it's everything. It's when you start with a bare plot of land and you literally don't have electricity, you don't have water, you have no utilities whatsoever. That's the biggest part. And then you're adding grapevines to it, and just the building fencing and outbuildings, and then all the equipment. I mean, winemaking equipment is not inexpensive. Most of it is imported. So that's the startup is just the most expensive part of it. And
when you say it's important, is that the machine that crushes the grapes and things like that?
Yep.
That comes from abroad?
Crushes the grapes. Yep, presses the grapes. I don't know how into the weeds you want to get, but
I don't care. I mean, I'm fascinated by it. I mean, I think everybody is. I think we're all fascinated about how wine works.
We love to drink.
And why?
I used to a lot.
Why imported? Why is that? I would think that American manufacturing would have begun to tap into that a bit.
Can your iPhone do it?
Yeah,
there's an app. Yeah,
we can 3D print it, Oscar.
Yes. I'm teasing. Do you? I'm sorry. I'll let you answer that question. But is there a level when you're competing with these big dogs? And I mean, the InBevs of the world. Yeah. How do you you don't want to? I guess you're not competing with them directly, but you have to innovate and you have to make things work at a certain level that, frankly, most people wouldn't even try. And there are probably wins and losses within that process, right?
Oh, correct. And you're right. We wouldn't even try to compete with something like that. California is a huge wine growing region. Most of the grapes come from the Central Valley. So we're located a little bit north. So if you drew a straight line between Sacramento and Lake Tahoe, we're right in the middle of that. The bulk of the wine grapes are grown to the south of us, like Lodi, Stockton, that area. Those are the huge juggernauts of wine growing. So, I don't know how they make wines available in a grocery store for $5 or $6 a bottle. So we're not competing with that. What we're doing is providing more of an experience. All of the wineries in our area are providing more of a boutique experience, much like I'm sure your Virginia wineries are doing.
Yeah, you're small, and so you put the whole thing in there, the tasting room, and the people come out on the tours, and maybe you serve some food and that type of thing.
Bachelorette
and lots
parties.
of people do that.
Yeah, we got a couple topless places out in Leesburg that are great.
Rob, that is the idea. I told you not to tell people about that. That is going to take that we have to wait till it's ready before we implement that business plan.
Elliot, when you talked about getting into the weeds, I'm curious about the planting, and it's not uncommon for something to take 3 years to bear fruit, but you are so invested. What kind of research, what kind of background did you research to choose what grapes you're going to grow? And do they plant as seedlings? Do they plant as seeds? How does it begin?
So it starts with the rootstock.
Okay.
So much like if you're planting roses or something like that, you're you're starting with a rootstock, and then you graft the
What's a
varietal
rootstock?
that you would. It's literally the thing that goes into the ground, and
Like a stick?
It looks like a stick. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a stick. And then you graft, meaning you join the variety that you want to grow on top of the stick. And then that can change. I mean, you're not, once you plant your rootstock, once you plant your stick, you're not locked into what variety you want to grow. But yeah, it
I have an
just kind
idea.
of changes.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but I have an idea.
Yep. Yes, Mike.
Rootstock. You could have a music festival at your winery and call it Rootstock.
Exactly.
I'm a genius. By the way, what's that?
And the headliner would be the
Roots.
Yeah.
And Rude Boy Slim.
Yeah. Boy Slim. What?
Oh, by the way, the name of the topless winery Rob and I were trying to do out in Leesburg was going to be Pop Your Cork. That was what it was going to be, if you were wondering. All right, here's before we let you get out of here, we're always running short on time. It's been a weird week. Your favorite episode of the podcast is number 843. I'm always amazed that listeners of the show know things that I don't, like what show was when, and watch out, he's putting his specs on. Podcast 843 was back in 2013.
10 years ago.
Jesus.
10 years ago. The show is relatively young at that particular point. Why is that your fave?
Okay, so gentlemen, this was, you're right, July 2013. So this was just days before little Michael was born. And I had just rediscovered your show. So I was a terrestrial listener up until your show was off the air, and then found your podcast again in 2013 and just voraciously downloaded every episode once I found it back from December 7th, 2009.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Listen to everyone. I mean, literally, I was listening to you guys in my ears for 8 hours a day. I was so appreciative to hear you guys back on the air that when I started listening, I sent you guys, all three of you, a case of wine, and you enjoyed the case of wine, and you named this particular episode in July of 2013 Wine Slaughter.
Did we consume the wine on the show?
So Mike, as I said, I sent you this case of wine to share. And this is when you were back in Manassas. And apparently this case of wine that was sent to Mike, Oscar, and Rob arrived at your house, Mike, at about 5 o'clock on a Friday afternoon.
Oh, so Oscar and I were long gone.
Yeah, we were gone.
Dun, dun, dun. So what follows is a paraphrased transcript of that show. Mike, in his booming baritone, Oscar and Rob, I apologize. I have stolen from you. Pony, go into the kitchen and retrieve what is left from Friday's wine delivery. Pony, okay. Upon Pony's return, he is holding one bottle of wine with approximately 1 inch of liquid left in it.
Wow.
Oscar. This is complete premeditated theft. Mike, you've committed wine slaughter.
Rob, is that Rob?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, there it is.
Oscar, who's ever the opportunist. We can fix this. What we need is another case of wine shipped stat just for me and Rob.
Bravo.
Thank you.
That's it.
A wonderful
Is that it?
recreation.
You did get that. You did get that
We
other
did.
case of wine.
Yeah.
So if
Thank you.
now that you're because I loved it, I believe, right? There were I was giving you mad props on the wine as well. I think where the hell did he go? There you go. Wonderful.
Look at that.
Now he's doing something else. He's got visual aids. This is so
This is
Elliot
the
is
fun
going
part of the job right
into
here.
the barrel right now.
Woo! That's
And-
cool.
Elliot, can you share with us what is in that barrel that you just took out? What particular varietal that is?
This is not a good wine for 7 o'clock in the morning. This is port. Do you guys know what port
Oh,
is?
very
port, yes,
heavy,
heavy
yeah.
duty. That's the heavy duty. And is that port ready to go?
Let's find out.
Sampling it right now.
Hey, okay.
Okay.
Goes well with toothpaste.
I think the reason I killed all that wine is because it was spectacular, and I think you undersell, what you do. I think it's really good stuff that you have out of Busby. I remember that. I think I did a bit of a. Now, do you remember? Because I think I said some pretty good things about your wine back then. Did I not?
You did indeed, yeah.
That's wonderful.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
All right. That's wonderful.
It was your official wine of the Red Sox 2013 World Series run.
Awesome. That's fantastic. Elliot, that's fantastic. I love that. Congratulations on making a go of it. So many people, have the guts to grab their dream and make it happen.
So cool.
And Busby Cellars, if you want to check it out online, busbysellars.com. We didn't bring him on for a plug. This is just a fan of the show who wanted to call in. Elliot, before we let you go, is there anybody you want to say hello to out in podcast land?
Oh, yes, of course. I'd like to say hi to my wife, Sherry, who, of course, I wouldn't be able to do any of this without her. We don't have kids, but our dogs, Zoe and Guster. Guster's named after my favorite band. And then I just wanted to shout out to my friend Anthony, who's an old-time radio listener, and his son, Jameson, and wife, Helen. And then mostly just thank you to you guys. It's, I've listened to you for thousands of hours, and you've kind of been a backdrop to, 25 years of me doing this. So thank you for that. And of all the shows I've listened to, this will probably be the only one I don't listen to.
Oh, wow. Oh, you were fantastic. You were great. Elliot Graham, thank you very much for coming on the show. Rob, make sure he gets the address of my new residence.
Of course.
We will take a break. No, it was good stuff.
Thank
you,
Elliot.
Remember, that's why.
Okay. All right. Thanks, you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, Elliot. We'll take a break, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back, it's the homepage. And I remember it was good stuff. It was a different time for me, too, though. I would have consumed anything.
Learn how to win big and get the secrets on chowing down. All on this week's bonus show.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Coin Pusher.
That was shot on an iPhone 6.
Do I look like I don't get nauseous? Small French fries. If you're putting bundle on something, you effers, that is not a bundle.
I will have a quarter pounder and a scrot of fries.
Stuff some circus peanuts down my throat and then top it off with lo mein. I'm not getting nauseous. It's basically alcohol with lemonade. You don't know anything about that, do you?
Let's change the topic.
You can't win if you don't play, and you won't laugh until you subscribe. Win big on hilarity today at MikeO'MaraShow.com.
Please go shopping. We're on fire.
On fire. Most of the time, modern is better. New and improved is a great thing, but sometimes you want it like the good old days.
Sure.
Like the classic joints or grass, man, that your folks used to spark up. Mellow grooves, Daddy-O. God, Rob went nuts on this. Well, Dad Grass has old school joints that are low in THC and high in CBD, so you can chill out and lighten up the old-fashioned way. Dad Grass is legal, organic, smokable hemp that relaxes your body and mellows your mind. And if you want the toke without the smoke, Dad Grass also has CBD gummies made with the same high-quality hemp. They're delicious, they are easy to dose, and the effects come on smooth. You might want to wonder, why does he have them so close by all the time? Don't ask. Chill out without getting stoned. It's like having a glass of wine, not the whole bottle. It's out of sight. All Dad Grass products are federally legal for ages 21 and over and shipped right to your door anywhere in the good old U.S. of A. Right now, Dad Grass is offering our listeners 20% off your first order when you go to dadgrass.com/TMOS. Go to dadgrass.com/TMOS for 20% off your first order. That's dadgrass.com/TMOS. Groovy, man.
From the four corners of the World Wide Web and into your digital device, it's what you need to know. This is the homepage.
This is the homepage. And whether you liked it or not, we had a big discussion on the show about it yesterday. Rihanna's Super Bowl halftime performance was a smashing success.
Yes.
In fact, it outdrew the actual game. This is where sometimes we have to listen to Oscar, Rob, because you and I are out of TOUCH.
Yeah, how did they time it to watch just that?
People tune in for it to see it. The sets go on and then they go away. Rihanna's pregnancy reveal attracted 118.7 million viewers, although it wasn't billed as that. The game itself, 113 million. That's amazing. They can break it down like that. Rihanna had the second most watched halftime show in Super Bowl history. Katy Perry. She drew 121 million viewers in 2015. That's pretty amazing. I wonder what the game was. What was the game in 2015?
I remember being at Jimmy's because she has the dancing shark, right? Left shark?
Yes. Yeah, Left Shark. Yeah, she had Left Shark. That was very cool. The last remaining Blockbuster store in Bend, Oregon.
Jesus, it was the Seattle Patriots. There was a Patriots.
That was the game with the blackout.
Yeah.
So that's in Bend, Oregon, where the Blockbuster is. Saw a huge boost in sales thanks to the Super Bowl ad they ran. If you don't remember the ad, that's because it didn't actually air during the game. They posted it on social media during the halftime show, and it worked. Yeah. Social media. Welcome, folks. Sales went up 200% after the ad went up. While you can actually rent movies at this Blockbuster, most of its revenue comes from merch, like hats, shirts, and sweatpants.
Blockbuster sweatpants?
Honey, where are my Blockbuster sweatpants? The ad is really good. It promises that even after the world ends, this Blockbuster will still be here, and it was made to look like it's on crappy VHS tape. So it was clever, and they took a chance, and they ran it. It wasn't a Super Bowl ad, so they didn't pay the gazillions of dollars for that. I think that's kind of cool. So
I'm going to drive out to Oregon and see if I can rent a copy of Red Dawn on VHS.
Bend, Oregon. Is there anything Tom Cruise can't do? Because apparently he single-handedly saved Hollywood. And that's according to none other than Steven Spielberg himself. The annual luncheon for Oscar nominees was held on Monday, and in a candid comment caught on video, Steven Spielberg told Tom Cruise, quote, "You saved Hollywood's ass, and you might have saved theatrical distribution. Seriously, Maverick might have saved theatrical distribution." As you probably recall, Tom didn't dump Top Gun Maverick onto a streaming service during COVID. He waited until he could give it a full theatrical release. And I went to see it. It's one of the few movies I've seen in the last year. Everybody went to see it at the movies, and he might have saved it. But unfortunately, you get into a habit, and it makes me very sad to see something like a massive Regal cinema complex go dark down here in a very busy area of Southwest Florida. But it was a huge hit for Maverick. Did he save Hollywood's distribution?
Hard to say. And also no love for 80 for Brady.
But guys,
was that a theatrical?
That was a theatrical release
as well. We all, at least I remember saying that I'm going to see this in the theater, but we didn't think, we were kind of shocked that we had to go to the theater to watch this.
It's been a while.
We were forced to in a way, right?
Then we saw it. We're like, I see why he wanted people to see this in the theater. It's a completely different experience.
Yeah, and I think that it's just
we went for Avatar, all these big blockbusters.
Avatar's the last one I saw in the. Did I watch it on?
No, you took your son.
Yeah. I went to that. So I took my kid. Yeah. But it's not. Movies aren't part of our culture like they were.
No,
they're not. TV shows are more part of our culture.
I don't think it can be saved at this point. I think there's going to be continual tent pole through a few a year that are going to do that, but they're going to end up on TV faster than you know.
What are the theaters going to become?
You're also going to invest in the technology where your home will be the new spot that we're going to see for all that stuff.
A lot of the theaters are become physical therapy places.
Bookstores, record stores.
God.
Where they can be late. That's the way
record stores. Thank you, Matt. I appreciate that.
Vinyl for days.
All right. Hold on.
Are you okay? Your face just changed color, meaning that your computer
screen
went bad.
They could be bingo halls. Are big enough for that.
You got me now?
I got you.
All right.
I love bingo.
Yeah.
Under the letter O.
Ever since the craft beer scene exploded, this grosses me out from beginning to end. I don't know if you'll feel the same way, but it's gross. Brewers have been adding fun new ingredients to beer. Pretty much anything you can imagine. But somehow no one has ever thought to use, get ready for this, the condensation from air conditioning units.
No.
They did it at San Diego International Airport.
Oh.
San Diego's East Village Brewing Company worked with the airport to put that precious water to use. It seems to me you're breathing people's skin.
Well, it's
gross.
it's gross because it condenses on something that's not food grade. It condenses on an air conditioner.
They collected the condensate. What is it? Condensate?
Condensation.
No.
Pony, don't get involved.
That's what it is.
Yeah, but it's
it's the I know it's the condensation.
It's poorly written.
But there's
You're poorly written.
They collected the condensate from all of the airport's ACs, purified it. It's still gross, and then used it as the basis for 2 new beers. West Coast style IPA called Hoppy Travels. Okay. All right. This is just trying to get.
This is such a stretch. They couldn't find anything. They might as well have just said, we took jet fuel, purified it.
Yeah.
Remember Coors, the mountains of Coors, come to the mountains? Remember?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The mountains of Bush, Colorado
Airports
spring water.
Dirty.
Yeah.
We're in the midst of a pandemic. Do you think people want to drink people's germs, even if it's filtered?
They need to bring back my
then
favorite
they put a
beer,
rating
Mike.
up that I'm not going to share because I think it's complete BS.
Mike, they need to bring back the greatest beer of all time, Winter Bush.
Yeah. The Winter Bush. Look, I think probably the best tasting IPA you'll ever wrap you in. Once in a while, a hair. It was good. It was really Bruce Springsteen and his E Street Band have unveiled 22 new tour dates. Hardest working man in show business. 18 cities that they're putting on their international tour this year. The shows kicked off in my state, Florida, earlier this month. Additional performances begin later this summer and will run into December. Most cities will be using Ticketmaster's verified fan program to ensure tickets hopefully get in the right hands. Pre-registration currently open at Ticketmaster through Sunday, Feb 19 at 11:59. God, why do they make it such a dickish experience? 11:59.
I've seen him once, and you know what? I think everyone should see him once, but I don't need to see him again.
Chicago's Wrigley Field and Philly's Citizens Bank Park. Those tickets will be sold directly by the stadiums. Don't know what that means for you in those cities, but find out. And now a little something. Once again from the great state of Florida.
God,
Palm Bay Republican City Council member Peter Filiberto has been charged with DUI and possession of cocaine. Police say when they attempted to pull him over this weekend, Filiberto tried to outrun them on his motorcycle. Oh, a city councilman on a motorcycle. Cool. When Filiberto attempted a U-turn, he lost control and the motorcycle tipped over. Officers say he refused to take a DUI test. And while questioning him, officers say they found 10 grams of cocaine in his shoes and socks.
Gross.
After a roadside investigation, he was arrested on 6 charges. Here they are: possession of a controlled substance, reckless driving, driving under the influence, no motorcycle endorsement, DUI test refusal, and a suspended license. In the state of Florida, this now moves Mr. Peter Filiberto onto the short list for Republican congressional runs. There you go. Absolutely. Yeah.
This cocaine smells funny.
Ooh, man, it's in your sock, huh? God, no license. How about that? We got to take a break. When we come back, we will talk flight. Yes, flight. Okay. The miracle of flight. I've been a phobic flyer. This one got me. I've been thinking about it for 3 days. We'll be right back on the Mike O'Mara Show.
Picture yourself on a journey. You're traveling through a dimension not of sight, but only of sound.
Oh my gosh!
A journey into a wondrous place where what you'll hear is a collection of the surreal.
We've seen some crazy things out here.
The fantastic and the comical.
We heard you. Go ahead. Born again. Go ahead. I heard you. Go ahead.
Don't! There is a deer in here.
Like that.
That's the signpost up ahead. Next stop, Soundtown.
Welcome to Soundtown.
Sounds meticulously procured by Rob Spivak.
Yes.
Listen for a laugh today, only on the Mike O'Mara Show.
Hey, everybody, when we decide to lose weight, thank you. That's loud right up to the end. When we decide to lose weight, it's usually not just about the number on the scale, and Noom Weight is ready to help. Noom Weight is different. It uses psychology to help you understand your eating habits and learn how to make healthier choices every day. Losing weight starts with your brain. And Noom Weight's approach based on scientific principles that help you better understand your relationship with food. To date, Noom Weight has helped more than 4.6 million people lose weight, and active first-time Noomers lose an average of 15 pounds in 16 weeks. Wow. I love Noom Weight because it works. Oscar loves it. Carla loves it. We all love it. It helps, and I logged my food with it today, and I logged my weight with it today. I was what they call flat in the weight business.
That's good.
Based on yesterday's Valentine's meal, still maintain my weight, which I'm happy about. Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom Weight's psychology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com/TMOS. That's NOOM.com/TMOS to sign up for your trial today. And check out Noom's first ever book. It's called The Noom Mindset. It's a deep dive into the psychology of behavior change. Available now wherever books are sold. All right, so let me grab this little story that I have here, because this one, oh man, I will tell you, as a phobic flyer, and I'm not phobic anymore. I was going to say,
you used to be really bad about it.
You know what? Calling myself a phobic flyer was ramping it up a little bit. I believe I am a nervous flyer.
Okay.
I have done things on airplanes that would probably not be done by people that were calm and collected on a flight. For example, one particular thing jumps to mind. Years and years ago, I was taking a flight into National Airport, and they aborted the landing and diverted to BWI. And at that point, even though my car was at National Airport and they were going to fly back to National, I got off the plane.
Yeah.
Because I was going to take a cab. Not many people did that. I did that. I said, I'm not going through this crap again. So
you saved a VHS machine.
That's true.
I saved and that would have been not necessarily fear of flying as much as just a hopeless addiction to alcohol that resulted in me jamming a Q-tip into the video player on an
be honest,
I think it was a DC-10.
It was a drink stirrer.
It was a drink stirrer, yes. Wrapped with a paper napkin.
It was. It really
Thanks for
was.
remembering that. That's wonderful. It's true. And I think that's when I was going to Maui, Hawaii, and that's why this also got to me. If you haven't heard this story, listen up, and I welcome your opinions on this. A United Airlines flight took a steep nosedive after taking off from Maui in December. The plane plunged from a very low altitude, 2,200 feet, so it's right after takeoff,
right,
to 775 feet over the Pacific Ocean before recovering and continuing its path to San Francisco. Flight 1722 descended as fast as 8,600 feet per minute. That's according to preliminary data. The incident occurred after the plane took off during a storm with heavy rain and a flash flood warning. And it was first reported by, I think it's a website called Air Current. A passenger, Rod Williams. Hi, it's the Rod Williams get-together. Hi, I'm Rod Williams.
What are you, a passenger?
No, I'm doing a radio show. We've got Tradio coming up in a second here. Rod Williams get-together. How's it going? Have you seen a good play? Have you seen a good movie? Please, television show on one of those internet streaming services that you're enthralled with. Please let me know on the Rod Williams get-together for Saturday morning at 4:30 a.m.
Charlie Warren.
He's Charlie Warren. A passenger who was on the flight with his wife and 2 young children said some passengers screamed during the incident.
I guess
I wouldn't scream. I don't think I'd be a screamer. I think I'd just be silently in terror. Said we took off a normal rate of climb, then all of a sudden the nose pitched up. Pitched up or pitched down?
It would have to pitch down.
Up. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. It pitched up for nearly 3 to 5 seconds, and at that point there were a number of screams that were let out because it was, an unusual climb. So it did pitch up.
Okay.
So it pitches up, but it was very brief, and it was followed by a very dramatic descent. The pilots filed the appropriate safety report. No, I'm kidding. They landed in San Francisco. That's where I flew out of. And United then closely coordinated with the FAA on an investigation. The thing that got me when I watched this news story is you see the little animated chart of where it goes, and you see just how dramatically it went down. And my
how many
question
feet did
is,
it dive?
it was diving at this rate of descent.
Yeah, but how many?
1,500 feet, I think, according to what he says.
2,200 feet down to 775 feet.
Yeah, so roughly 1,500 feet.
It was under 1,000 feet over the ocean.
For those at home, a helicopter is roughly the hard deck 300 to 400 feet. So you're 300 feet above that.
You're almost going to crash.
Yeah. You are seeing the waves.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'd fly after that.
It would flip me out. I'm surprised. You know what I think might come out in the investigation? They probably should not have been cleared for takeoff. Don't you think?
You think it was a downdraft?
If it was downdraft and that weather, all that kind of weather,
and the pitch up was maybe an effort to
avoid
fight
the
that,
weather,
but it wanted to shove them down as soon as they regulated the pitch up.
You can't fight the sea. You can't fight the sea.
This is what's crazy. 3 years ago, right before the pandemic hit in March, like full force in the U.S., I was flying out of Maui, and it was rainy, and I was on United, and I said, well, I don't know. Like, you feel a little better when you're closer to land, but when you're so far away from the next chunk of land, you're like, I hope nothing happens.
Yeah,
you never know. You never know when you're going to be on one of those flights, and it's going to happen. It's scary.
The scariest flight I've ever had was flying Lloyd Aéreo Boliviano, which I think is defunct now. And this is one that wasn't the cargo plane. The cargo plane was, I was so young that I felt this is just what you do to fly to remote areas of Latin America. And I remember petting the goats. So that wasn't a big deal.
That's code.
But Lloyd Aéreo Boliviano had a terrible, I think we chronicled it at one point years ago on they have a terrible record.
A safety record?
Worse than the Russians?
Yes. And when you're flying over, Mike, the Andes Mountains, you can see the tip of the mountains right under what feels like under the wing.
Oh, because the sheer height of the mountains, right? I mean, it's terrible.
And this is before my mom we would do a rosary before we took flights on this airplane, on this airliner, because so many of our relatives have died on these flights.
Right.
So when you have to do a rosary before you get on an airline, because there's things can happen. I think even one of my uncles was a pilot on it, and he died. Right. So this is not.
That's after he crashed in the Andes and 8 people.
No, not like that, Mike.
That's absolutely. Soccer team.
But when
he prayed on the rosary, Mike, for better recipes.
So seeing mountains is much more terrifying than seeing water. Sorry, what did you just say? I just walked over
He said they prayed to our Lord God, our Savior, for better recipes on how to cook people. That was the joke that he was making. That made me laugh because I got it right away, and I'm sharing it in more detail. We need something to tenderize the buttocks.
Himalayan sea salt.
It's scary to fly in South America.
Okay, here we go.
Well, it can be scary to fly anywhere. I've been in an aborted landing at National. It's horrifying.
Probably on the same plane with
Could be, yeah.
There are so many. So I just put Lloyd Aéreo Boliviano crash record. There are the first page is littered with accidents.
Unbelievable, and not all fatals. Oh my God! Right?
Yeah,
just they bump into things.
No, these they run into the mountains and they all die.
Oh my God! What's the airline called? Are they still flying?
LLOYD Aéreo AEREO Boliviano.
Is he a guy, Lloyd Aéreo?
No, not Lloyd.
Hair of the dog, Lloyd. Hair of the dog.
Don't worry, the next one's going to be great.
There's so many crash histories. Oh my God, I've never even seen this.
Lloyd Aéreo Aviado
Boliviano.
Yeah, I would say mountains are a bad situation for a flight. I mean, we lost Patsy Cline to one of those. Frank Sinatra's mother, I think, was
Buddy
killed.
Holly.
Yes, exactly.
The Big Bopper.
Well, no, that wasn't a plane though. That wasn't a mountain. That was just a crash.
Yeah, but they crashed into a mountain.
No,
didn't they?
No, it was bad weather that brought them down.
It wasn't a mountain?
It was in Iowa. There's no mountains.
Bad weather. Oh, it was in Iowa. Okay, you went. There aren't any mountains in Iowa, are there?
Mount Bridges.
Oh, stay away from me. No, look up here. I'm snow-capped. Anyway, would you fly again if you went through that?
I don't think I would.
Oscar, would you fly again if that happened?
No way. No way. No, not at all.
I'm going to think about it. I'm going to have to hope that gets out of my mind soon because I think of stuff like that. It's terrible. Horrible. What are you reading
over
there?
30 crashes in its history that's coming up.
And
just off top
once
of
again,
mind.
the airline name, please.
Lloyd Aéreo Boliviano.
The Lloyd doesn't fit.
I'm Lloyd Aéreo of Bolivia.
Buenos dias. My name is Lloyd.
Like, what was your Spanish teacher name?
Senor. He used every single summer he went to Mexico, and he'd come into school. And he would bring artifacts and souvenirs. I have this from Mexico. And his name was Senor Williams. There you go. That's it. All right. So anyway, scary times. United
Airlines.
Airlines.
Look, again, this is the latest, briefly. 3 crashes, multiple fatalities since the year 2000. That's too many.
Flying?
Yeah. Still flying.
Way to go, Lloyd.
God, hair of the dog. We got to take a break. When we come back, I'll tell you about an overwhelming kitchen success. Thank you.
Hey, come here. Buy from Vince's Tire Warehouse and get free gumballs.
Anybody can sell you what they think you want, but if you need new tires for your ride or the sweet, satisfying pick-me-up of a gumball, you can't miss shopping online through the shopping center at MikeO'MaraShow.com. Target and Walmart has what you're looking for. Have it shipped to your door or pick it up at the store. You can't lose because you help support TMOS. And here's something else to chew on.
Gumballs and tires, he can't miss. Trust me. Get out of there.
God, I hate that. Anyway, welcome back to the Mike O'Mara Show. Here is a scary but very true fact. Every day, your home movies and your precious photos are slowly fading away.
Gone.
They fade away in closets. Or worse, they break down because of the dampness of your garage or the heat in your attic. Digitizing your old media with Legacy Box stops the fading and allows you to preserve those recorded moments so that they are safe forever. Join the over 1 million families that have trusted Legacy Box and digitize your memories today. We've all used Legacy Box. We all love it. Imagine the peace of mind that you can have knowing that all your memories are safe and sound for countless generations to come. It feels good. Legacy Box is a super simple mail-in service to have all of your videotapes, camcorder tapes, film reels, and pictures converted to perfectly preserved digital files, keeping them safe forever. Don't let your photos continue to fade. Buy a Legacy Box today at legacybox.com/TMOS and save 40% for a limited time only. Just visit legacybox.com/TMOS. That's legacybox.com/TMOS. Well, I know we overdid it. Yes, sir.
Can I just share this with you, please? I'm sorry for hijacking this. All right, go ahead. Some dates, right?
Is this more about Lloyd?
I found this.
Okay.
Lloyd Aero Mexico. Lloyd Aero Boliviano.
Yes. August 21st, 1944. It says a Lockheed Model 18 Lodestar was destroyed in a fire in the airport of La Paz and even crashed on the tarmac.
Just burnt up.
In 1947, May 29th, crashed near Trinidad. That's all they write. In 1949, they've got a Curtiss Wright C-46 Commando crashed on takeoff. La Paz. That's all they write. 1950, another crash. 1951, another crash. 1953, another crash. 1955. Like, they are just every year. And this
but you're going way back. What about, give us something since 1980.
Okay, this is 1980. Here we go. 1980. This is a Fairchild F-27. You know your planes. Ran off a taxiway whilst being on the ground in Santa Ana and at the Yucatan airport and went into a ditch. One fatality. You've got 1980 Lloyd Aéreo Boliviano F-27J registered CP 1117 crashed into a hill whilst approaching Yucatan Airport. 1984, another F-27 crashed, this time in the jungle somewhere between Trinidad and San Borja. In 1985, a passenger detonated a bomb in the laboratory on board the Lloyd Aéreo Boliviano flight from La Paz to Santa Cruz, killing all on board. August 1991 was an airplane, a lab Boeing 707 was destroyed in a hangar fire in Dahan Regional Airport in the United States.
It sounds to me like they're buying a lot of factory seconds because they don't have like a flaw.
South American carriers buy used planes.
Yeah, exactly. Like a Fairchild, Mike.
1994, a Fokker. Is that F-O-K-E-R?
Yeah.
427 Friendship overran the runway in Guayamarin.
You a pothead, Fokker?
Airport. This is where my mom and I land when we see my grandmother, Guayamiring Airport. So it ran off the runway following a rejected takeoff. 36 passengers on board, 4 fatalities. In January 9th, 2001, you've had a 727 while collapsed. The landing gear collapsed while taxiing in Buenos Aires Airport in Argentina.
Mike, not funny.
In 2004, this is wild. A 767, a Boeing 767, Mike. You know these planes
huge
better.
plane, right?
Big plane.
Experienced a hard landing in Vito International Airport following a scheduled flight in Miami. Sustainable damage, 1 fatality. And 2008, Lloyd Edward Boliviano 727 had to execute a forced landing in the jungle. Found a clearing near Trinidad due to fuel exhaustion. They ran out of gas. The aircraft was carrying 151 passengers, 3 fatalities because of the hard landing.
Don't they pay attention to that light with the little gas tank on it? Don't they know they need to fill up?
That's okay. We'll coast in on the fume. Wow. All right. Well, make sure you fly another carrier when you go down there.
None Lloyd.
And visit. So we did the whole Valentine's Day number. I had one request from my beautiful bride, and that was to make her dinner and make beef bourguignon. It's really beef stew.
Yeah.
Is what it is. And I'm going to tell you, I hit it so far out of the park. And the reason, this is for all you chefs out there, I did something that I normally don't do in the kitchen. The key to success in the kitchen is patience.
Of course.
Well, I know you say of course, but I don't possess that. I like to have it done, and I like to have it I don't mind it cooking for a long time, but I like to have all the prep, and I usually rush through it. This time,
did you find your pearl onions?
Carla brought them home, and we put them in, and they can be put in at the very end, which we did.
Awesome.
And they were perfect. It was fantastic. We have a ton of leftovers. It is spectacular. Ina Garten, God bless you, you turbo hottie, you.
Stop it.
I mean, she just knows how to make it. And I did right in my own kitchen. If you'd seen me yesterday, put a little cognac in there and I flambe it.
Fun.
The whole night. All by my onesies while my kid's at school and I'm playing Mr. Mom at home. And man, when it was done, the balance of seasonings and the preparation I would make it for you guys if you come down here.
How do you plate it? Do you serve it
I should say you come down here, I'll make it for you.
Do you serve it? Do you plate it? Do you serve it on noodles? Is it served on its own?
No, because we served it on its own because of the the dietary stuff that we're
ideally,
dealing
how
with
is
right
it
now.
served? I'm not very
I
familiar
think you
with the
can
dish.
serve it over garlic bread. You can serve it
nice.
over garlic, or you can put it over noodles. Did I hear a pone bone in the background there? Did I hear him say something?
Matt, did you say something?
No. Okay.
Did you go?
I did say but I was muted.
So, all right, thank you. It's me. It's a voice in my Alzheimer's head. Thank you, Pony. I appreciate that.
I was muted, you.
Did you have Pony over for dinner last night and we didn't know?
Did. Yeah, it was so good. I've made it probably 6-7 times.
Okay,
and it was the best I've ever made it. And my wife was so happy. And then I was giving her a hard time. I said, "Well, once again, another Valentine's Day, not lack of a gift." And she goes over to the door, and there's a package outside, and she got me a pair of slippers for my diabetic feet.
Oh,
it was wonderful. It
how
was
nice.
just
That's
delightful.
sweet.
Yes.
Prescription
one of the
slippers?
toes last night was about to fall clean off, and it was just so kind of her.
What's special
to do that.
about them?
No, they're expensive.
They have no sugar in them. They're
sugar-free slippers.
Yeah,
they're
I know compression
they're
socks,
slippers
stuff
that
like
have a little tube that dispenses insulin.
Beautiful, and your feet will lose weight.
That's what they do. They make your feet really purple. No, they're actually so. You'd know the brand. It's like a Hawaiian name. They make really expensive shoes,
like Anka or something like that.
They're like Okalai or Kamahani or Kalamani.
Yeah.
She said, "Don't look at the price," because I would have been upset if I looked at the price of the slippers.
How fast did you look at the price then?
I didn't. I couldn't find it. I was trying to look at
it.
You tried. But it was a very good little VD. Really fantastic. Yeah. It was really, really yummy, loving my tummy. But I don't know the brand name.
What about the romance? Any romance?
No, that was earlier in the week. I'm happy.
Oh.
Yeah, the weight is just falling
banked one
off.
This morning I said to Carrie, did you have a nice Valentine's Day? And she says, oh, yeah, that was yesterday, wasn't it?
Oh,
Yeah,
congratulations.
but you guys don't celebrate.
We don't observe.
You know
no,
this.
we don't. No.
Not exactly a celebratory week for Mr. Spiewak, I
No.
would say. We give him a free pass on that particular one, right?
I'll take that.
I mean, that's it. And you can make it up, baby. How about Valentine's Day in March? Why don't you have it the 14th, 4 days before St. Patrick's Day? 3 days before
3 days.
St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah. Or actually 2 days before I'm sober a year.
It's a happy day on the Mike O'Mara Show.
Really great,
Jesus Christ.
Goddamn plane crashes,
we're
sobriety,
gonna start
friends
this won't
dying.
be online anymore. We're going to go to nursing homes and do this show. That's what it's going to be. God almighty.
Sorry about your PT, Oscar.
That's it. Yes. Okay. I get my injections Friday. We'll be right back, everybody. God almighty. Help us all.
How's it going, Mike?
I have an issue with printer streaking. A disembodied voice says, is it a laser printer?
The solution was on the other side of this wall.
That's right.
Saying nothing. He's like, no, just shake it.
Oh, that's not going to work. Just take the cartridges out and shake. Ichabod weighs in with shake it.
Shake it, baby.
Are you having technical issues with the Mike O'Mara Show or the TMOS bonus show?
That's right.
Have you tried unplugging it and plugging it back in? Never fear. Just email Ichabod at MikeO'MaraShow.com and shake it one time for me, honey.
And that's all.
Hey, there's no better way to maximize your day than by making sure you're feeling like your best self. Liquid IV is the category-winning hydration brand fueling your well-being, and their hydration multiplier just may be the one product you're missing in your daily routine. In just one stick, you get 5 essential vitamins and 2 times faster hydration than water alone. Use it first thing in the morning, before a workout, when you feel run down, after a long night out, and on long flights. Liquid IV is made with premium ingredients and is non-GMO and free from gluten, dairy, and soy. Plus, Liquid IV is on a mission to change the world. They have donated over 25 million servings in over 50 countries around the world. Plus, it's convenient and oh so delicious. It's like the best way to start your day. So be like me. Drink Liquid IV. Grab your Liquid IV in bulk nationwide at Costco, or you can get 20% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use our code TMOS, which is a deal. Do that at checkout. 20% off anything you order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code TMOS at liquidiv.com, people.
Sound. We call this stereophonic sound.
Soundtown.
Before I play my favorite new tape of the day, we need to have a brief look backward. Now, do you remember, Mike, when I first started working with you, now nearly 31 years ago, you were going through diverticulitis in a bad way. And
I've been falling apart forever.
And
So
one of my first tasks was to drive Mike to and from his home one day. And when you were in the hospital, you were addicted to a certain game. Do you remember?
Tetris.
Yes. It was the Game Boy was brand new, and it was helping Mike pass time in the hospital. And I always thought that was kind of cool. And we used
John Pop brought me nudie magazines.
Classy man.
He did. I'll never forget. It was a real solid. And I had a private room at the time. I had been in a double or maybe even a quadruple, and they moved me into halfway during the week. They moved me into a private room. I had my own bathroom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, now.
I used it.
Yeah. Look out! Look out!
Mm-hmm.
Look out! But anyway,
nurse.
The Tetris theme is part of our collective consciousness, which is why I love this. Here's a guy. He plays all the instruments on this. He reimagined the theme to Tetris as a ska record. So it takes a second to get started.
It's like a Russian.
It is a Russian folk song. It is. But listen.
It's catchy.
It is.
And in my club, I will splash the pot whenever the F I please.
I forget how, but one time a million years ago, I was invited to an event at the Russian embassy, and they had a small Russian combo, and one of the songs they played was the Tetris theme. And
I had no idea until it was slowed down how Russian it is.
It's very Russian, yeah. But they played it there.
Oh, by the way, speaking of Russian, there's a show on. It's called Treason. You know, it's like, boy, they are making a racket outside today. I don't know what's going on. It's like somebody's mowing like a 2 square foot area right outside my window.
It's going to look great.
It's going to sound better in the garage.
Treason. Have you watched Poker Face yet?
No, I haven't watched Poker Face.
I wish you would.
No.
I think you're going to dig it.
I just got into it.
It's great.
He's right. He's not overselling. This show is a solid show.
Yeah.
We're watching the Octavia Spencer vehicle, Truth Be Told now. That's the one we're watching right now. Carla likes it. I'm not.
You'll love poker, Mike.
You'll love Poker Face. Also, we're watching Ginny and Virginia and marveling at how horrible it is.
Oh, okay. I'm not going to watch that one.
That's a good hate watch. All right. There's a crime spree in Washington, D.C. for something I don't even know about. Have you heard of a coat called the Canada Goose coat?
I have one.
Do you?
Yes. You mean, it's goose feathers inside. It's a down jacket.
It's wicked down, baby.
Yes.
And it's expensive. Some of them are like $1,700-$1,800.
They're very popular up in Canada.
Well, there's a crime spree in DC. People are stealing them.
All of a sudden, someone's going, "Give me a coat! Give me a coat! Give me a coat!" And I thought, "Is this a joke? Give me a coat!" And then he waved a gun by me and said, "Give me a coat!" And so I took it off and gave it to him. And then
he said, 5, 4, 3, 2. What are you going to do if you are in that situation? You got a gun in your head.
People are like being held up and mugged for their coats.
Well, they are ridiculously expensive coats. They're the ones with the little symbol on them, right?
Can you imagine how much they'd be going for if it was actually cold this year?
I remember going up to Montreal, Canada years and years ago. I think that company had just come into existence and they were all over the place. And the other thing I remembered from years ago is the amount of people who wear real fur coats up in the Great White North. There's still a thing, I think. People wear real fur coats, even though they're such controversy.
If I could afford it, I'd wear one.
Raccoon skin, wouldn't you?
Raccoon, maybe mink, ermine, anything. Yeah.
And you do the show like 6 feet in back of the microphone with a megaphone.
Yeah, and a cane.
Hello, everybody. Yay, Ross.
I'd have a pennant that said podcast.
You chilly?
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm not.
This is a grandmother getting a present, and it's a framed picture of their grandchild's ultrasound. I'm sorry, the grandchild having a child.
Why don't start right now? Take a breath because you completely muffed it.
You're right.
So you have to start
Mike,
at the very, very beginning.
It was a disaster. It
was
really
a total
bad.
disaster because you rushed it a little bit. Yeah. So this is
I'm
a
gonna
sonogram.
do better this time. A grandmother is receiving
has
a present.
her daughter's sonogram.
Right. And
this is. Hold on. She's not a grandmother yet, is she? If she hasn't seen,
she's not yet.
This is a soon-to-be grandmother
and
who sees a picture of a sonogram from her daughter.
And this is the only way she found out that she's going to be a grandmother. So this is the reveal. She sees the picture of the baby in the belly. There, that went better.
What is it? Are you kidding? Are you kidding? She's pregnant.
Only at 30 early. I'm going to be 9 weeks.
I think I just wet myself.
The child will never sleep. Ever. And let us close with this. I loved this because how many times have you brought a car into a mechanic and there's something wrong with your car and you can't really describe what it is, and you say something that in retrospect sounds stupid, all right?
Right.
So these are mechanics with these reports finding the problems. These are the sounds cars make, okay?
Customer states, my vehicle sounds like an elephant.
Is that the real sound?
Yes. Yeah.
Customer states.
That's
Whenever
awesome.
I roll the driver window down, it sounds like somebody screaming.
Customer states, truck sounds like a snare drum.
That's fantastic.
Customer states their vehicle is making farting noises.
And that was not an electric vehicle, Mike. It runs on gas.
Oh, God, that's spectacular.
Smart. Anyway,
absolutely.
That's what I got for you today.
Wow. That is so accurate. The customers get a free pass on that because it's true.
States, yes.
The way it sounds. We got to get out of here. We'll be back with a brand new episode tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Oscar's going to be taking a quick flight to Bolivia for physical therapy, and then he'll be right back this afternoon. Anyway, we got to go. We'll see you tomorrow. For Rob Spiewak and Oscar Santana, Mike O'Mara saying so long, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Ciao, ciao.
Want more? Make sure you check out the Mike O'Mara Bonus Show. Get it at MikeO'MaraShow.com.
Mike O'Mara, Radio Entertainment.
Shut your pie hole. We're working here.
Hey, how you doing?